You wake up at 6 a.m. You work until 7 p.m. You pick up extra shifts. You hustle on weekends. And somehow, at the end of the month, you have less money than the person who works half as much as you do. Here's the part that should terrify you. This isn't bad luck. It's math. And the system is counting on you never figuring it out. My name is Jonathan, and I spend way too much time thinking about the quiet systems that run people's financial lives while they're busy doing everything right. If you're someone who works, pays bills, and still feels like money moves faster than your understanding of it, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because what I'm about to show you isn't some hustle culture conspiracy theory. It's not about working smarter, not harder. It's about understanding the actual mechanics of how working more can systematically drain your wealth without you even noticing it's happening. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me introduce you to two people. Person A works 45 hours a week at a stable job. They make $50,000 a year. They're tired, but they're responsible. They show up, they do what they're supposed to do. Person B works 25 hours a week. They make $45,000 a year. On paper, they earn less. Now, common sense tells you person A is winning, right? They're working harder, earning more, doing the responsible thing. Except here's what actually happens over the course of 1 year. Person A, because they work more hours, eats out 11 times a week. They don't have time to cook. That's $220 a week, $11,440 a year, just on food they could have made at home for $80 a week. Person A commutes 5 days a week in rush hour traffic. Extra gas, more wear on the car. That's another $2,400 a year compared to person B, who works 3 days a week and avoids peak hours. Person A is exhausted, so they pay for convenience, laundry service, grocery delivery, the premium gym membership they never use because they're too tired, another $1,800 a year. Person A gets sick more often because they're burned out, 3 extra doctor visits, prescription co-pays, missing work without paid sick days, another $1,200 gone. Added up, person A spent $16,840 more than person B just to maintain the lifestyle that their better job requires. Person A made $5,000 more in salary, but they're actually $11,840 poorer at the end of the year. This is the trap, and it's invisible because you're measuring the wrong thing. You're measuring income. The system wants you to measure income because while you're watching that number go up, it's bleeding you dry in 12 other places you're too busy to notice. Here's the logic almost everyone misses. More work doesn't just mean more money. It means more costs, more taxes, and more time poverty. Let me break this down in a way that'll make you angry, because it should. The tax trap. When you work more hours or take that overtime, you don't just earn more. You get pushed into higher tax brackets. Let's say you're making $50,000 and you pick up a side gig that pays another $15,000. That extra $15,000, you're not taking home $15,000. After federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, Medicare, you're taking home maybe $10,500. You just worked nights and weekends for 30% less than you thought you were earning. But it gets worse. The human brain is wired to match spending to income. You get a raise, you upgrade your life. New apartment, better car, nicer clothes for work, subscriptions you don't need but can afford now. Except none of that is wealth. That's just a faster treadmill. Here's the example nobody talks about. You get promoted. Your salary goes from $50,000 to $65,000. You feel rich, so you move to a better neighborhood. Rent goes from $1,200 to $1,700 a month. You buy a car that matches your new status. Payment goes from $250 to $450. You just added $700 a month in expenses. That's $8,400 a year. Your raise after taxes gave you about $10,500 extra. You now have $2,100 left of that raise, and you're working 15 more hours a week for it. You traded 780 hours of your life for $2,100. That's $2.69 an hour. You just worked for less than minimum wage and called it a promotion. This is the one that destroys people slowly. When you work more, you have less time. Less time means you pay other people to do things you could do yourself. You pay for convenience. You pay for speed. You pay for other people's time because you sold all of yours. Think about it. You're too tired to cook, so you order delivery. That $18 meal cost you $4 in ingredients and 30 minutes you didn't have. You're too busy to fix the leaky faucet, so you call a plumber for $150. That was a $12 part and a YouTube video. You don't have time to compare insurance rates, so you overpay $600 a year because switching feels like work. Every hour you work is an hour you can't spend protecting your money, and the system knows this. The system is built on this. Overwork makes you sick. Stress destroys your body. You get high blood pressure, insomnia, anxiety, weight gain, so you go to the doctor. You get prescriptions, you pay copays, you miss work. The average American spends $1,200 a year on healthcare costs that are directly related to stress and overwork. You're literally paying money to recover from the thing you're doing to make money. You're working yourself into medical debt so you can afford to keep working. Now, let me show you what happens if you never figure this out. You keep working more. You keep earning more. And every year, you're a little more tired, a little more stressed, a little more confused about why you can't get ahead. You hit 35. You've been grinding for 15 years. You look at your bank account and you have $8,000 saved. Your friend, who works part-time and lives simply, has $40,000 invested. You think they got lucky. You think they had help. You don't realize they just weren't bleeding money the way you were. You hit 45. You're making $90,000 a year. Sounds great, except you're spending $87,000 to maintain the life that the $90,000 job requires. You're trapped. You can't quit because you need the income. You can't downsize because you've built a life that depends on every dollar. You're a high-income prisoner. You hit 55. You're burned out. Your health is failing. You've worked 40 years and you're not even sure you can retire. You did everything right. You worked hard. You were responsible. And you're poorer than you would have been if you just worked less and kept more. This is the consequence nobody warns you about. You can work yourself into poverty while earning a six-figure income. Because wealth isn't what you earn. Wealth is what you keep after the system takes its cut. And the more you work, the more cuts the system gets to take. So, what do you do with this information? I'm not going to sit here and tell you to quit your job and start a drop-shipping business. I'm not selling you a course on passive income. This isn't about some magic solution. This is about awareness. Here's the shift. Stop measuring your success by how much you make. Start measuring it by how much you keep. Stop celebrating the raise if it costs you more in time, health, and money than it gives you in actual wealth. Stop trading hours for dollars and start asking, what is this hour of my life actually worth after taxes, after costs, after the damage it does to my body and my freedom? The person who makes $60,000 and spends $40,000 is wealthier than the person who makes $100,000 and spends $98,000. Full stop. The system doesn't want you to understand this because the system runs on your labor. It runs on you working more, spending more, staying tired, staying distracted, staying convinced that the next promotion or the next side hustle or the next grind is what's going to save you. It won't. What saves you is understanding the math. Understanding that working more only makes you richer if the money you keep exceeds the cost you pay to earn it. And in most cases, it doesn't. Here's what I want you to do. Track your real hourly wage for 1 month. Take your income after taxes, subtract every cost that exists because of your job. Commute, food, childcare, convenience purchases, stress spending, health costs. Divide what's left by the actual hours you spent working, getting ready for work, commuting, and recovering from work. That number is your real wage, and I'm willing to bet it's a lot lower than you think. Once you see that number, you can make real decisions. Maybe you take the lower-paying job with less stress. Maybe you cut your hours. Maybe you stop chasing promotions that don't actually make you wealthier. Maybe you realize the entire game was rigged to keep you running on a wheel, and the only way to win is to step off. You're not lazy for wanting to work less. You're not unmotivated for refusing the grind. You're awake. You see the trap. And seeing it is the first step to avoiding it. If this video made you rethink everything you thought you knew about work and money, do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel because we're going to keep pulling back the curtain on systems that profit from your confusion. Share this with someone who's grinding themselves into the ground and can't figure out why they're still broke. And drop a comment telling me your real hourly wage after you calculate it, because I guarantee some of you are going to be shocked. The system is counting on you staying busy. Stay aware instead. I'm Jonathan. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.